Hello and welcome back to Mrs. Hauk's math class. I hope you all enjoyed your weekend and your low math day yesterday. And hopefully you're ready to jump into our integers and rational numbers on a number line. You will notice on lesson 9, where we're going to start, there is a horizontal number line that has two dots plotted on it, a -10 and a +5. Today what we're going to do is we're going to look at this number line and we're going to come up with a story, a real world situation that we could make up. So for example, here's my story. The Boy Scouts go on a 20-mile hike. I didn't put the dot for 20, so let's keep reading. Thomas and Evan are scouts in two different groups. Two different groups. Okay. Evan's group has 10 miles to go before he reaches the check-in station, and Thomas's group is 5 miles beyond the station. 0 on the number line represents the check-in station. So, if you're listening to my story, Evan's group has 10 miles to go before he reaches the check-in station. So here is Evan's group, and they have 10 miles to go before they get to the check-in station. So this is my check-in station. And then I said that Thomas's group is 5 miles beyond the station. So they're kind of traveling this direction, 10 miles to the check-in station, and then the other group is 5 miles past. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at another one. If you want to pause my video so that you can write this story down, you sure can. You're going to have to do something like this today on your homework, so I want to make sure we get enough practice in. Okay, so if you want to pause, you can. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and move down to the next one. All right, let's see if I can get this situated so everybody can see. Here's our number line. This time we have a number line that's actually going horizontal, vertical. Vertical. We have a vertical number line. It says create a real world situation that relates to the points shown in the number line model. Be sure to describe the relationship between the values of the 2 points and how it relates to their order on the number line. All right, so I've got a -1 and a 0. Here's my story. Anton is visiting Canada and was recording the outside temperature each night. Monday, he recorded 0 degrees Celsius, right here, and Tuesday, -1 degree Celsius. Tuesday's temperature, which is here, was colder than Monday's. -1 is less than 0. So the point is below 0 on a vertical number line. So you can see I have 2 different scenarios, 2 different stories. 0 in this story represents temperature, and 0 in my story at the top deals with the check-in point for the hike. Okay. Once again, if you want to pause my video so that you can get these stories written down, you can do that. You are going to have to be writing your own story later. So we're going to see who's been paying attention. Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and turn over to the next page. Okay, so let's go on to problem number 2. This time we are going to read a scenario and we have to decide whether or not we agree or disagree. So it says for each problem, determine if you agree or disagree with the representation. Then defend your stance by citing specific details in your writing. So let's read this first one here and let's see if we can figure out what we need to do. It says Felicia needs to write a story problem that relates to the order in which the numbers -6.5 and -10 are represented on a number line. She writes the following. During a recent football game, our team lost yards on 2 consecutive downs. We lost 6.5 yards on the first down. During the second down, our quarterback was sacked for an additional 10-yard loss. On the number line, I represented this situation by first locating, here we go, let's put this down here so we can see, by first locating -6.5. I located the point by moving 6.5 units to the left of 0. So here's 0. She went backward 6.5, okay, to the left of 0. Then I graphed the second point by moving 10 units to the left of 0. So I'm here, and I went back 10 units this direction right here. Okay, so we need to see if we agree or disagree with Felicia. Remember, she was trying to represent on the number line these 2 numbers and seeing that if -10 is less than -6.5. Well, I said, I agree. -10 is less than negative 6.5, since negative 10 is to the left of negative 6.5 on the number line. Both numbers are negative, so the team lost yards on both plays, but they lost more yards on the second play. So you can see they lost more yards here than here. Okay, so go ahead and pause your video so that you can go ahead and write down that we agree with her statement, and then we will move on to the next problem. All right, let's move on to problem number 3. Problem number 3, we need to decide if we agree or disagree. Number 3 says, Manuel looks at a number line diagram that has the points negative 3/4 and negative 1/2 graphed. He writes the following related story. I borrowed 50 cents from my friend Lester. I borrowed 75 cents from my friend Calvin. I owe Lester less than I owe Calvin. All right, so I made a little number line here to kind of help me out. And we have on the number line negative 3/4 and negative 1/2. Well, I know that negative 2/4 can actually reduce to negative 1/2. Okay, so I counted by fourths, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and that would be 4/4. And then if I look, I can also, on the top of my number line, count by quarters, because I know that 1/4 is the same as 25 hundredths. So negative 25 hundredths, negative 50. Like I said, I sometimes think of this in terms of money. So I'm counting by quarters, and then I'm here at 1. So I borrowed 50 cents from my friend Lester. So this is me. I borrowed 50 cents from Lester. So this would be Lester. This is where I borrowed here from Lester. Then I borrowed 75 cents from my friend Calvin. I owe Lester less than I owe Calvin. Well, if you notice, Lester, I only owe 50 cents. His decimal's further to the right, so that's better. I owe Calvin 75 cents, so I would have to agree that I owe Lester less money. So I said, agree. And then I said 50 cents and negative 75 cents both show that Manuel, or he, owes money. Negative 50 hundredths is further to the right, so Manuel does not owe Lester as much as he owes Calvin. Okay? We agree with the statement, so we put agree, and then I put some words explaining to you why I agree. Remember, if you need to pause the video so that you can get this written down, please do so. Okay, so let's move down to problem number 4. Number 4 says Henry located 2 1/4 and 2 1/10 on a number line. He wrote the following related story. In gym class, both Jerry and I ran for 20 minutes. Jerry ran 2 1/4 miles, and I ran 2 1/10 mile. I ran a farther distance. So if you notice, I have here what we call a mixed number, a fraction, and a decimal. And so I want to kind of change those to make them the same. So I know that 2 1/4, well, I just learned from the problem earlier that 1/4 is actually the same as this decimal right here, 25 hundredths. So that means 2 1/4 is the same as 2 25 hundredths. So I'm going to look at 2 25 hundredths, and I want to compare it to 2 1/10. So what I did is I made a little number line here for us. And let me move this up here so we can see. Now remember, number lines can be numbered starting wherever you want, but you have to continue the pattern over and over. Well, I wanted to jump all the way up here to 2.1. Why? Because that's in my story. And if you notice, I put a 0 on it. We can always add zeros to the ends of numbers, but we can't put them in the front. So I have here 2 1/10, which is right here. And then I went and I started counting. 2 1/10, 2 11 hundredths, 2 12 hundredths, 2 13, 2 14. And I'm going to keep going. Here's the 2 1/10. Where am I ever going to get to? Remember, this right here is 2 25 hundredths. 2 25 hundredths. Well, I'm here at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 25 is going to be way over here off my paper. So the dot's going to be somewhere over here. So from what I know about number lines, is the dot that's further to the right is larger than the one that's furthest to the left. So this number is larger than that. So when it says in gym class, both Jerry and I ran for 20 minutes. Jerry ran this and I ran this. I ran further. Well, I just proved to you that 2.1 is not further. So I said, no, we disagree. 2 1/4 is greater than 2 1/10. Since 2 1/4 is equal to 2 25/100, 2.25 is to the right of 2.1. So Jerry ran farther. Okay, and if you want to put a little picture to help you understand that, this is where 2 1/10 would be, and eventually you would get to 2 25/100 further down, so this is larger. Okay, we're going to look at one more. So remember, if you need to pause my video so you can get this written down, please do so, because this will help you when you are getting ready to do your homework. All right, so we're going to look at our last problem here, problem number 5. It says Sam looked at 2 points that were graphed on a vertical number line. Okay, vertical number line. That means I'm going to do something like this. He saw that points -2 and +1.5. Saw those 2 points, and he wrote the following description. Okay, so let me go ahead and put here's my 0, 1, 2, I have 1.5, so 1.5 would be right here, and then -1, -2, all right, and -2, start at 0, go down 2. So he saw these 2 points, start at 0, -2, and up +1.5. So he wrote the following description. I'm looking at a vertical number line that shows the location of 2 specific points. The first point is a negative point, very good, and so it is below 0. The second point is a positive number, so it's above 0, very good. The negative number is -2, okay, so that's good. The positive number is 1/2 unit more than the negative number. Well, here's the negative number here, -2. If I only go up 1/2 a unit, I'm going to stop right there. I only went up halfway. So that's not true. If I wanted to go all the way up to my positive number, I would go 1, 2, 3, and then I'd have a little half here. So it looks like I would go 1, 2, 3.5 to get to the positive point. So I'm going to disagree with this comment. I said disagree. 1.5 is 1.5 units above 0. Got that. And -2 is 2 units below 0. Got that. Altogether, that means the positive number is 3.5 units more than the negative number. Okay, once again, when I was here at -2, if I only went up halfway to the next number, that did not take me up to that dot. I had to go up 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 3.5. So that's why we wrote 3.5. Okay, please pause your video so you can make sure you get this all written down. And then I have a Google form that I would like for you to fill in. Please use your blue math book to assist you so that we can get some great grades. Have a great Tuesday.